The ground pin on a standard 120 volts receptacle should be at the bottom. This is the common and accepted practice, although the National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not explicitly mandate a specific orientation for the ground pin. The NEC focuses primarily on the safety and functionality of electrical installations rather than the precise physical positioning of devices like receptacles. However, the preference for the ground pin at the bottom stems from practical considerations and industry-wide conventions. Firstly, having the ground pin at the bottom allows for a degree of protection against falling conductive objects. If a metallic object were to partially dislodge a plug from the receptacle, the grounded pin at the bottom would be the first point of contact. This would ideally trip the circuit breaker, preventing a potential shock hazard. Secondly, consistency in electrical installations contributes to safety and ease of maintenance. When electricians and other qualified personnel encounter a standardized configuration, they can quickly assess and address any issues. This uniformity reduces the likelihood of errors and promotes efficient troubleshooting. Thirdly, while the NEC doesn't explicitly state a preference for the ground pin's position, local codes or project specifications may include such requirements. It's crucial to consult local regulations and any specific instructions provided by the client or project engineer to ensure full compliance. Fourthly, some argue that having the ground pin at the top could potentially create a hazard if the cover plate were to become loose or detached. In such a scenario, a falling object could make contact with the ungrounded conductors before contacting the ground pin, increasing the risk of electric shock. Fifthly, the orientation of the ground pin does not significantly impact the electrical functionality of the receptacle. Regardless of whether the ground pin is at the top or bottom, the device will still provide power and grounding as intended. The primary concern is safety and adherence to accepted industry practices. Sixthly, it's worth noting that some specialized receptacles, such as those used in hospitals or other critical care facilities, may have specific orientation requirements. These requirements are typically outlined in the NEC or other applicable standards and are intended to enhance safety in these sensitive environments. Seventhly, when installing receptacles, it's essential to follow all applicable codes and regulations. This includes using the correct wiring methods, ensuring proper grounding, and verifying that the receptacle is securely mounted. Neglecting these fundamental requirements can compromise safety and lead to electrical hazards. Eighthly, the color of the receptacle can also indicate its intended use or voltage rating. For example, a red receptacle typically indicates that it's part of an emergency power system, while an orange receptacle may indicate that it's a dedicated circuit for specific equipment. Ninthly, tamper-resistant receptacles are now commonly required in residential installations, particularly in areas accessible to children. These receptacles have internal shutters that prevent the insertion of foreign objects, reducing the risk of electric shock. Tenthly, when replacing an existing receptacle, it's crucial to turn off the power to the circuit at the breaker panel. This will prevent accidental electric shock during the replacement process. Additionally, it's essential to use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is indeed energized before beginning any work. 11thly, ensure that the wiring connections to the receptacle are secure and properly tightened. Loose connections can cause overheating, arcing, and even fire. Use the appropriate tools and techniques to create reliable connections. 12thly, when installing a receptacle in a damp or wet location, such as a bathroom or a door area, use a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protective receptacle. A GFCI will quickly interrupt the circuit if it detects a ground fault, preventing electric shock. 13thly, the NEC provides detailed requirements for the spacing of receptacles in residential and commercial buildings. These requirements are intended to ensure that occupants have convenient access to electrical power without having to use extension cords excessively. 14thly, the height at which receptacles are installed is also regulated by the NEC, particularly in accessible locations. This is to ensure that individuals with disabilities can easily access and use the receptacles. 15thly, when installing receptacles in a multi-gang box, be sure to properly support and secure the box to the wall. This will prevent the receptacles from becoming loose or damaged over time. 16thly, it's important to use the correct type and size of wire for the receptacle installation. The wire gauge must be appropriate for the circuit's amperage rating. Consult the NEC for guidance on wire sizing. 17thly, when making wiring connections to the receptacle, use the correct terminals for the type of wire being used. Solid wire should be connected to the screw terminals, while stranded wire should be connected to the push-in terminals. 18thly, never attempt to repair a damaged receptacle. Replace it with a new one that meets all applicable safety standards. 19thly, when installing receptacles in a commercial building, be sure to comply with all accessibility requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. This includes ensuring that the receptacles are located within reach range and that they have adequate clear space around them. 20thly, when installing receptacles in a healthcare facility, be sure to comply with all applicable standards for patient safety. This includes using hospital-grade receptacles and following strict grounding and bonding requirements. 21stly, when installing receptacles in an industrial setting, be sure to select receptacles that are suitable for the environment. This may include using receptacles that are resistant to corrosion, chemicals, or physical damage. 22ndly, when installing receptacles in a hazardous location such as an area where flammable gases or vapors are present, be sure to use explosion-proof receptacles and wiring methods. 23rdly, the NEC requires that all receptacles be properly grounded. This is to ensure that any fault current will flow safely back to the source, tripping the circuit breaker and preventing electric shock. 24thly, the grounding conductor must be connected to the grounding terminal of the receptacle and to the grounding busbar in the electrical panel. 25thly, the grounding conductor must be green or bare copper and must not be used for any other purpose. 26thly, the neutral conductor must be white or grey and must be connected to the neutral terminal of the receptacle and to the neutral busbar in the electrical panel. 27thly, the hot conductor can be any color except white, grey, green, or bare copper and must be connected to the hot terminal of the receptacle. 28thly, the NEC provides specific requirements for the installation of arc fault circuit interrupters, or SIs, in residential buildings. SIs are designed to protect against electrical fires caused by arcing faults. 29thly, SIs must be installed in all branch circuits that supply receptacles in bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, family rooms, and other similar areas. 30thly, SIs must also be installed in branch circuits that supply lighting outlets in bedrooms. 31stly, when installing an SI, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. 32ndly, SIs can be installed in either the electrical panel or at the first receptacle on the circuit. 33rdly, the NEC requires that all electrical work be performed by qualified individuals who are trained and experienced in electrical safety. 34thly, before starting any electrical work, be sure to obtain the necessary permits from the local building department. 35thly, when working on electrical systems, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses and insulated gloves. 36thly, never work on electrical systems when you are tired or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. 37thly, if you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, hire a qualified electrician to do the job. 38thly, regular electrical inspections can help to identify potential hazards and prevent electrical fires. 39thly, if you notice any signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, sparking outlets, or burning smells, have the system inspected by a qualified electrician. 40thly, electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following safe practices and being aware of potential hazards, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and protect yourself and others from harm. 41stly, remember that while the position of the ground pin is generally at the bottom, local codes and specific installation requirements should always be consulted for complete compliance. Proper grounding and safe wiring practices are paramount for electrical safety.